In this episode, we're delving into the terrifying world of Eligio Bishop, the self-proclaimed god behind the Carbonation cult. From eco-radical ideals to accusations of rape and imprisonment, this story exposes how a charismatic leader turned a quest for enlightenment into a horror story for his followers. Buckle up as we explore the rise, the crimes, and the escapes that shattered this deceptive paradise.
If ever your life could be a true crime podcast episode, then this podcast is for you. We're about to embark on a roller coaster of emotions, insights, survival, and stories about escape. So buckle up and let the journey begin.
Hello, escape artists, and welcome to the Escape Pod Season 2. We're here to take a break from the chaos and just connect, and there's been a lot of chaos lately.
Yeah.
So whatever you're dealing with, you're not alone. You're not the only one. We're here for you.
That's right. This podcast, it's a little bit therapy. It's a little bit story time, and it's a lot of laughs.
We hope.
And it's about keeping it real. And so we share our ups and our messes and our wins, and sometimes those moments make us tear up.
There have been plenty of those lately. Well, I'm Charity.
And I'm Cara Beth. Charity, what are you trying to escape from this week?
Well, I think, to keep the theme going, we talked a little bit off the air about something that was keeping us up last night. So, we're escaping the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
So,
anyway,
we're not going to talk about a murder today.
because I cannot handle it.
No, not. So we're going to talk instead about a cult leader, modern day. And y'all know, like, the notorious cults, right?
Yeah.
David Koresh,
Yes.
like, they're, yeah. So have you heard of Natureboy or
No.
Carbonation?
No.
I know, it's kind of funny. I actually took out...
Sounds like a bad comic.
Well, what you had is a group of people who were also producing music, and so they kind of had these hip-hop alter egos, and they all had these funky names, nicknames that they went by.
Okay.
I couldn't. They took them very seriously. I just couldn't, so I'm using their actual God-given names because... It made it so much more comical.
Yeah.
But and there's nothing comical about what was happening. You may laugh at a few places because it's like, you're kidding, right?
Like, it's so ridiculous.
None of this is a joke. And part of it is like there are pieces of, like we're just talking about all this hatred in the country.
Yeah.
Some of that hatred is the catalyst for what we're going to talk about today. And some of it is understandable, like when it comes to racism and, the heaviness. And so we'll talk about that. But I don't even know how this came on my radar. Yeah. I don't know if it was a write-in or what it was, but I was like, wait, what? Carbonation? Like, I've not heard of this. And it's very prevalent, very, recent.
Well, let's get into it.
All right. So quick note, this episode draws from extensive reporting and court records, and to piece together this whole story, as always, all the source notes for the episode can be found in our show notes if you're interested in doing more research. So,
get ready for a spooky night of fun. Saturday, October 4th is the One Heart Halloween Soiree. It's an evening of food and fun, which includes a formal program featuring One Heart graduates, a silent auction, and a costume contest. Net proceeds go to support the One Heart campus and further our mission of empowering people to overcome crisis and achieve self-sustainability. Tickets are on sale now at oneheartrc.org/Halloween soiree.
Well, here we go.
Here we go.
Okay. Eligio Bishop, born in 1982 in Harlem, New York, was born into a world of chaos. He described himself as a crack baby. He was orphaned at a young age. He shuttled through abusive foster homes where he claimed he endured both sexual and physical abuse.
Yikes.
That common trope, right? He ran away a lot, obviously. And by his teens, he was running the streets, smoking dope, committing a lot of crimes. Of course, that landed him in and out of juvenile detention. When he was 16, he was sent to the East Jersey State Prison and landed himself in the prison psych ward after a suicide attempt. So a lot of trauma in this young man's life. Just a lot of strikes against him, a lot of bad experiences. I mean, even with good foster families, this is still a traumatic trajectory going from foster home to foster home. And he did not have, it sounds like, very good and healthy foster family experiences.
Yeah. Well, and I cannot relate to the foster. I have not had the opportunity to foster myself. I've got friends who have, and, good people, and seems to be good experiences. But even if every foster home you go into is a nice family, a nice foster family, I still feel like that much shifting, you know what I mean? That much change.
And it's not being wanted.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like the way that feels. And then I think that whole orphan feeling. And again, I thankfully can't relate to that. I have, I grew up with both my parents, but I know that my mom lost her mom at a really young age, and that does something to a person. A part of you is missing. And I think even adopted children, and again, I can't speak to any of this myself, but it's like you hear different stories of people who are adopted, and they love their adoptive families, and it can all be good stuff, but there's just always something kind of missing. There's a missing piece there, and it's hard.
So I think, this guy is not starting out great in life.
Yeah.
And so you can see it doesn't excuse anything he did on this story I'm going to tell you, but it explains that foundation he was built on probably wasn't going to have a good outcome.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. So what happens when you have delinquent juveniles and you're hitting that age of 18? What typically happens?
When you have delinquent juveniles hitting 18?
Yeah.
Well, it's all free for all.
Well, it's usually you're going to go in the military.
Oh,
right?
Well, yeah. That, if you can
That's
make them go in the military. I feel like that used to be the case.
But
now I'm like, you can't just.
Not anymore.
Yeah. It's a free for all.
But back in his day, he did do a brief stint in the military. But then when they found out, they didn't do their background first. So then when they found out about his psychiatric history, they discharged him. And so now he's not wanted by the military either. And that could have been a good thing for him, potentially, right?
Sure, because it'll give it structure.
Discipline, structure, a team, camaraderie, that kind of a thing. So Eligio was pushed into, he was a very good-looking man, modeling, stripping, and he even did a 10-year stint in sex work to survive. So he used the skills and assets that he had, and that's how he survived. And by 2011, he was running a barber shop in Atlanta. So he was trying to get out of the sex industry and, do something. And he was very charming and charismatic, as all these cult leaders always are.
Yeah. It's like you talked about that, I forget his name, but the one you had talked about quite a while ago, and you actually...
Oh, the one I dealt with?
Yes.
James Ray.
Yeah. And it's just surprising. But there is that, they have to be charismatic. Otherwise, how are they going to get the following?
Perfect teeth, perfect smile.
Yeah, saying all the right things.
Yeah.
Mesmerizing. Oh, run.
Run.
When you meet someone like that, run.
I just picture turtle being able to hide in your shell and get the hell away. But, he was really charming with his clients at the barbershop, and he always had a chessboard, and he would give them a free haircut if they could beat him. He claims no one ever beat him, but I don't know if that's true or not. But he also had a really volatile side. So same time frame, he's running the barbershop, he's charming all these clients, and sounds like he had a pretty solid business. He had also an aggravated battery charge after assaulting a girlfriend, Maisha Evans. It was resolved with probation and a $1,000 fine. However, here's what really happened. Okay, this is not commensurate. His punishment is not commensurate with what he did to her. So I looked this up. This shitbag was actually found by police in the act of assaulting her right out in the open on the front porch.
Oh.
This is her house. He was staying there. He later reflected, quote, "A cop pulls me off her because I'm trying to murder her," end quote. He just says it matter of fact.
My goodness.
And Maisha, according to a police report, had severe swelling over her left eye the size of a fist that appeared to possibly be a broken bone, a laceration behind her left ear, several marks on her upper body, and her pajamas were all torn off.
See, when I hear stuff like this, it just seems so inhuman to me.
That's just
how does a human being do this to another human being?
It's that. I I don't know. So where this happened, I think it was New Jersey. He should have been locked up for 20 years for what he did to her. But because, like in so many DV cases, Ms. Evans relented, wrote a letter in support of him, and they reconciled. And so he was allowed to plea and only got probation and a $1,000 fine for aggravated battery.
That shouldn't be allowed.
It should not be allowed. Even if you relent, hey, we have proof, the cops saw it, you're done. So this gives you an indication of his mentality too. So later, because part of this whole cult that he formed, they live streamed everything. This is how they got so popular. Okay. Of course, this is how I didn't know about it because
you don't watch.
I don't watch this stuff. But he actually talked about Maisha, and he said, quote, "After Maisha, I promised the universe that if you got me out of that time I was supposed to do for putting my hands on her, that I would never hit another woman. I lied."
Oh, great.
Dun, dun, dun. So keep that in mind.
This guy has zero regard.
No. He's a complete sociopath. Yeah. So Bishop's transformation into cult leader began around 2015. Frustrated with systemic racism, as is understandable. He was frustrated with poverty and urban life and this whole confluence of situation that people just can't get out of, right? Mm-hmm. He launched a YouTube video series preaching a radical philosophy. And this philosophy was that Black people are empowered by melanin, in their skin. Yeah. And that he claimed that melanin had almost supernatural powers enhanced by the sun. And so he had this theory that Black people should flee America, go to the tropical lands where they're exposed to more sunlight, and we'll come to that, and I'll circle back to that. He also railed against white people as a virus on the planet.
Oh, boy.
There are viruses on this planet. Some of the people we talked about earlier, they're not necessarily just white people, but positioning Black men as the immune system. And his beliefs blended veganism, polygamy, nudity, astrology, raw nature living. So they would sleep outdoors, they would poop outdoors, they would reject modern medicine and pharmaceuticals. And he said, quote, "What I stand for is very simple." This was in an interview with the Rolling Stone magazine, which was where we got a lot of the source material. Mm-hmm. "The human race needs to stop living the way we're living for our own survival. I promote living in tune with nature." I mean, that sounds rational, logical. Yeah. Hey, I would love for everybody to live in tune with nature. That'd be amazing. And then he goes on, "People talk about the injustices, white supremacy, and what we're doing about it. I've decided to be the change that the planet needs. This is my transition before I go into nature and move out of the country. This is the most efficient way to shut the system down. We don't need to be violent. All we need to do is go into nature."
In that little piece, I love going into nature. Yeah. Nature is very healing. What country was he going to move to?
I'll get to that.
Okay. Patience.
A lot of countries. I mean, I'm not sure his logic, hey, getting it on nature can solve a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know that it can solve white supremacy.
No.
I don't know that anything can solve white supremacy. But it does, what he's saying, it certainly has a romantic appeal. Yeah. I can see why people were tuning in and that base was growing, right?
Yeah.
So let's take a quick sidebar here to talk about something that happened in 2016. So shortly after he's creating this online presence that catalyzed him to take his ideologies and followers and really birth the cult. Mm-hmm. So this was something, again, I'm ashamed to say, but it's just like school shootings and all these things these days where we're becoming desensitized to police shootings, and
it's happening so much
all the time that you cannot possibly consume all the news, or I'm just going to be curled up in fetal position, completely paralyzed, not able to function.
Well, and then I worry sometimes too that people will take stuff where it's like, oh, well, that didn't happen here, so who cares?
That also happens because we need a way to put a buffer. There's a couple things that happened during this time that he really rallied support behind. And so this first one is a 37-year-old man by the name of Alton Sterling. Mm-hmm. He's peddling homemade CDs outside this food mart in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This was July 5th of 2016. And he was very well known locally. He was the CD man. And he had reportedly begun carrying a gun for protection after some of the other vendors in the area had been robbed at gunpoint. So he did have a prior criminal record, including a 2009 conviction for illegal possession of a firearm during an arrest. And the police were called on this incident after an anonymous 911 report claimed a man matching his description, they didn't name him, but matched his description, had threatened a homeless person with a handgun while selling CDs. Again, they didn't name him, but the CD was all the law enforcement needed, and they're like, well, it has to be Alton Sterling.
Yeah, he's the only one that does it or whatever. Yeah.
So Baton Rouge PD officers Blaine Salamani and Howie Lake II, they went and found him. They confronted him. He's like, dude, don't know what's going on. Resists attempts to detain him because he's like, doesn't know what's happening. So the officers used tasers multiple times before taking him to the ground. They pinned him with one officer on his chest, the other on his thigh. This sounds very much like George Floyd.
Yeah.
During the struggle, Salamani yelled that Sterling was reaching for a gun in his pocket and threatened to shoot him in the head if he moved. Salamani then fired 3 shots at close range, paused, fired 3 more, striking Sterling in the chest and back, so a total of 6 shots. A loaded .38 caliber revolver was recovered from Sterling's pocket after the shooting, however. The entire encounter lasted about 90 seconds, was captured on bystander cell phones, store surveillance, and police body camera footage. An autopsy confirmed Sterling died from multiple gunshot wounds with amphetamines, caffeine, cocaine, and other substances in his system. It's irrelevant. I'm just reporting it because that's what was in the report. And investigators noted that may have influenced his behavior.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Obviously.
I mean, there's some days that sounds really good to me, but I'm not going to be my dad, so...
No.
And then at the same time, there was the case of Philando Castile. So Philando, he's a 32-year-old black man, was fatally shot by police officer Geronimo Yanez during a traffic stop. This one sounds a lot more black and white. So this was Falcon Heights, Minnesota, July 6th. So again, back-to-back dates here. Incident occurred when Castile and his girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, were pulled over for a broken taillight. And a lot of times, being married to a cop, that's a tactic. It's not profiling. It's not anything like that. It's like, hey, you're driving at night or whatever. And I don't know if this was at night, but broken taillight, we can do a public service. Hey, because most people don't get to see the back of their cars when they're driving.
Yeah.
Hey, let's help you out, get this fixed. But it's also another touch point of, especially at night.
Yeah, I've been pulled over for that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it was a simple stop.
Yeah.
Hey, your taillight, it wasn't broken, but it was out.
Well, I think Philando did everything right. So he gets pulled over, and he tells the cop right away, I'm a licensed gun owner. I have a firearm. Let's get that out in the open. And he was reaching for his license and registration, and his girlfriend is live streaming this, by the way. But he's reaching for his license and registration as Officer Yanez instructed. And I don't know. He just shot him.
The officer just shot him?
He just shot him. He hit him multiple times, and their 4-year-old daughter was in the back seat.
Oh.
Or I don't know if it was his daughter, but
regardless.
Diamond's daughter was in the back seat.
Yeah, no, that's awful.
So this is, again, it's understandable. This shooting sparked outrage, protests all over the place, and it is highlighting those issues of police violence, racial profiling. Yanez claimed he feared for his life. And so the police officer was charged with second-degree manslaughter and dangerous discharge of a firearm, but he was acquitted in 2017, and that prompted further protests. The city settled with Castile's family for $3 million, and the case became a focal point in discussions about systemic racism and police reform. And so these 2 cases are serving now as the backdrop for this unrest that's brewing. And of course, it's going to make Bishop's message about GTFOing the country all the more appealing, right?
Yeah.
We're getting slaughtered. Our people are getting slaughtered. No rhyme or reason. We're not safe here. We've got to go.
Right.
So it makes sense. There were protests in Baton Rouge that blocked streets and led to over 100 arrests. There was a July 7th ambush in Dallas on the heels of this that killed 5 police officers. A July 17th shooting in Baton Rouge that killed 3 police officers. Internationally, countries like the Bahamas, the UAE, and Bahrain, they were issuing travel advisories warning citizens about U.S. police interactions. So this was just blowing up. So, and it was awful because the Department of Justice investigated and concluded that no criminal charges against Soleimani were warranted, citing insufficient evidence of willful misconduct. And, of course, that's never going to go well, right? Louisiana state investigation led by Attorney General Jeff Landry also concluded in March 2018 that no criminal charges were warranted, deeming the officers' actions were reasonable and justifiable. So, administratively, Soleimani was fired for violating use of force policies, but then that was overturned, allowing him to resign. Officer Lake received a 3-day suspension. So I can understand the frustration when you perceive there is absolutely no justice and no hope.
Yeah.
So I get it. After all these incidents, Bishop said, "Peace out. I've had enough." He calls on his followers to rally. And this is the first cult-like group, he called it, was the Melanation.
Melanation?
Like melanin nation. Melanation. I thought that was kind of clever. And then he changed it and morphed into the Ethereans, because he's also on this spiritual journey thing. And then finally Carbon Nation, just going back to his roots, right?
Okay. When you say that, Carbon Nation, I'm thinking of pop, like soda pop, like carbonation.
Oh, God, I never heard it that way. No, carbon as in the substance. It's black.
Oh.
Carbon.
Yeah. No, that's not. Like this
Capital
whole entire
C,
time, I'm like,
carbonation.
When is CO2? When are CO2 getting into? How is that coming? I hear them thinking they're all out in nature drinking pop.
Oh, my gosh.
Like soda pop.
No.
For the
Sorry,
love.
I never heard it that way. That's funny. See?
Please,
tomato.
listeners,
Did you think I was saying carbonation?
if you thought she was saying carbonation, please write in or at least comment.
KB needs some support.
I need at least one other person on my team. Anyway,
Okay.
continue on.
Well, I mean, he may have been with his raw vegan and all this stuff.
Yours makes
I'm
way
sure
more
he was not
sense.
drinking.
It's just not where my head went.
Well, okay, so now he has some followers. They're traveling. The cult's coalescing. He declares himself not just their leader, but, ready? Can I do that drum roll?
Yeah.
The king of the earth.
Oh, for the love.
And then he was the Messiah,
No.
God returning,
No.
and Christ.
No.
Yeah,
No. No. No.
he said it. Therefore,
Wow.
yeah.
When was this?
No ego there. This is 2016, I believe. Okay. So the cult began coalescing. It peaked at about 10 to 20 core members with hundreds of online fringe followers. They became nomadic. So they started kind of hopscotching through like Central America, spent some time there, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, California, Nevada, Texas, and then back to Atlanta by 2021. So they just, and I'll tell you why they moved around so much. And life in carbonation.
See?
I can't not hear it now. It sounded idyllic at first, like communal living. They'd have like a raw vegan meal once a day. Polyamorous relationships, float some people's boats. I'm too jealous.
Sounds like a mess.
It'd be more like Hunger Games if I see my husband with somebody else. So that's not going to work
Things
for
would
me.
not end well. Mm-mm.
Spiritual teachings, and they would stream like the stuff they did on the daily and these spiritual teachings, and they'd stream them for live donations. Followers also, typical Cult 101, would hand over their finances. So their disability checks, their government aid, even debit cards to help fund the cause. Early funding reportedly came from a member named Philip Goss, who donated around, do you want to guess?
I'm just going to say $1 million.
300,000.
Okay.
The group produced hip-hop music, turned their lives into kind of a nonstop reality TV show on YouTube. So his first station amassed 94,000 subscribers, and it was Natureboy TV.
So cheesy.
I know.
So cheesy.
I should have kept the other names in here. You would have had a riot with that. Facebook, he had over 50,000 followers. Instagram, and it was just like the real polyamorous Jungle Wives of Costa Rica or something. I mean, it was just bananas. So people were mesmerized by the drama. Like as soon as the cameras are rolling, there'd be fights, there'd be exiles. You pissed me off, or you didn't follow this, so you're out of here. Anarchy and sex.
Lots of sex.
Lots of sex in pairs and groups. I mean, you get the picture. And there's Bishop. He's the puppet master dictating who got to have sex with whom. And I mean, again, cult 101, right?
Super weird. I can't even I do not understand how people get.
I have enough to take care of. Can you imagine orchestrating who gets to hook up?
No. No. I want nothing to do with any of that.
No, thank you. But cracks started emerging quickly in his leadership. Façade.
I can't imagine.
He became super controlling. I'm sure you're shocked to learn. Totalitarian. He would expel dissenters for minor infractions like they were hungry at night, wanted a snack, or disagreeing with his teachings.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
That would be a good Monty Python episode, huh? He also discouraged medical care, preaching that ailments could be healed naturally. I didn't undergo this, but some of the people I talked about in the James Ray episode also fell prey to that. In 2017, a video of him discussing sex in front of children, claiming he let his son play with his penis and had sex while his child breastfed, sparked investigations, though no charges followed.
No.
That same year, the group was deported from Costa Rica after a live stream clash at a security checkpoint where Bishop refused to sign paperwork, and he yelled and he made a huge scene. I'm not even going to repeat what he was saying because I just can't. But he was really theatrical, so you can just imagine and just making a big scene. But to some, that was part of the allure, man, taking down the whatever.
Standing up for something and saving the day.
So as Carbonation... Okay, I'm just going to say the cult. As the cult evolved, the drama and devastation escalated. So 2018, 59-year-old member Magdalena Sevilla died of heart failure in Palenque, Mexico, after reportedly stopping her medication under his influence.
What kind of medication was she on?
Heart meds. Her daughter struggled to get straight answers from the group and believes her mother would still be alive if not for being influenced by Bishop in his teachings. There was also a slew of deportations from various countries and raids on the cult's encampments, like they had to flee from Mexico in 2019 after police began looking into allegations of abuse and financial exploitation. They were deported from Nicaragua after Bishop was jailed for 3 weeks. They were deported from Panama.
My goodness.
After he was apprehended on international crimes of sexual abuse and pedophilia.
Oof.
And deported from Hawaii. Banned from Hawaii in 2020 for violating quarantine rules. And this led to a 90-day suspended sentence and expulsion from the state. So I cannot imagine not ever getting to go to Hawaii again. That would break my heart. That is my happy place. And violence became really normalized. I mean, there's some things we want to normalize in our country. Violence is not one of them, unfortunately.
No.
We're here. So ex-member Velvet Marquez, who has a daughter with Bishop and was married to him in 2020 alongside other couples in Las Vegas, she recounted being beaten in a group circle on July 4th of 2020. He allegedly strangled her, slammed her to the ground, punched her while others watched. He was literally picking her up by the neck, strangling her, kicking her in the stomach with an audience as she tried to crawl to safety. He'd pin her down, he'd pummel her face. And this is, just a beautiful woman who idolized this guy. It was just sick. Like you can see somebody that beautiful who loves you and just do this. In a 2019 live stream with her father, Bishop admitted hitting her, saying, "When it comes to me, I'm a man."
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Men hitting women.
That's not sexy. That's not
no.
masculine.
And it's not manly. It's not manly at all.
No. Other women alleged similar abuse, with justifying it as reprogramming weak men and earning respect. So a former member recalled, quote, "If you were his wife, you pretty much had an agreement. If you disrespect me, I'm going to put my hands on you."
Wow.
I would hate to see what those wedding vows look like. In sickness and in health, in black eyes and in...
No,
I'm good. Another member recalled endless meetings where Bishop explained locking women in rooms or slapping them. And the group's content blurred kind of reality and fiction. You know, there's these fights, these beratings, drama. It's streamed for live views and donations. And Bishop would claim that the abuse was either shadow work for healing or strategic drama for attention and money. But ex-members insisted that the abuse happened off camera too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So financial exploitation, it was rampant. Members donated their Social Security, their stimulus checks. As one member put it, now I know those are cult tactics, but at the time I felt like this was a community. They wanted to be part of something.
Are you looking for an early morning boost or that midday pick-me-up? Check out the Homebrew Coffee Shop, a coffee shop with a cause on the One Heart campus. At Homebrew, you'll find hope for a home in every cup. It's home to delicious coffee, sweet treats, breakfast, and lunch items. It's a great place to meet friends or host small group meetings. Homebrew is located at 201 Kansas City Street in Rapid City. Open Monday through Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll see you there.
I think community is really important, and I think that there's a lot about being a part of a community that makes us feel good. But I think if you're finding yourself in some type of a community, whatever that
Where
looks
you're being
like,
controlled.
where you are, like, there's one standout leader, and I think when they start coming after, like, things that you need, whether it's money,
Anything that makes you independent.
yes, anything that just sets you apart, that you can stand alone.
Yeah.
I think when those things start being asked of you, for you, or taken away from you, it's no longer a community. That's where it goes on to. It's a cult. It's not okay.
Yeah. It's not okay. Tragedies extended beyond the group in 2023. Ex-member Marja Wide, who left the group after Bishop's arrest, was murdered in a house fire in Ontario. 3 people face second-degree murder charges, and Townsend believes the group's toxic influence is what turned him from a neutral guy into thinking he was like a gangsta. Their words, not mine, and that's what led to his death. And the breaking point came in March of 2022. Janae Newell, who is a 25-year-old artist and tarot reader who followed the cult online, joined them seeking what they had this term called frequency family. So basically, you know, people you gel with. And after a party...
Like vibe frequency? Okay.
Yeah. Where she was punched by Bishop's wife for disrespect. Bishop allegedly coerced her into sex despite repeated refusals. She's, you know, doesn't want to do it. He's like, I'm not going to rape you. But she finally relented out of fear of like, if I don't go along, he's escalating. I'm probably going to get raped. So they do their thing. She leaves quietly the next day. But
I still feel like that's borderline rape. I
it's
feel
still
like
rape. No, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. And she comes to this realization as well.
Okay.
But why he was doing it was to post revenge porn. So
this guy's a piece.
Yeah. So she reported it to police when she found out about it. Initially not labeling it as rape, but later testified, quote, after researching cults, I was able to understand that all he did was rape us. It was a culture of rape in Carbon Nation. So Bishop was arrested April 13th, 2022 in DeKalb County, Georgia, charged with rape, false imprisonment, and 3 counts of prohibiting nude or sexually explicit transmissions. 2 other ex-members testified to similar rapes, though uncharged. The February 2024 trial featured survivors. Cult expert Rick Allen Ross testified Bishop fit the destructive authoritarian leader profile using coercive persuasion. Prosecutors showed videos of Bishop declaring, all of you belong to the 3 and I will have my way with you as I see fit. March of 2024, the jury convicted him on all counts. So he got nailed with everything. Judge Stacy Hydrick called him a master manipulator and narcissist with no remorse, sentencing him to life without parole plus 10 years, a penalty some experts deemed excessive. But the DA's office defended as appropriate. Bishop protested, quote, that's been happening to black men for a long time, framing it as a racial injustice akin to targeting black leaders. And I'm sorry, but this guy is no Martin Luther King.
No.
Not even close. So life behind bars, get the tissue out, you ready? Hasn't been a walk in the jungle for Bishop. In August of 2024, he was stabbed, I think this was his first day there. He was stabbed at the Macon State Prison suffering a collapsed lung. And I'm sure he started telling other inmates he was their messiah. And maybe they
were like,
tried
enough.
to teach him a lesson. So as of 2025, appeals are underway. He filed habeas corpus petitions in May and June. Some of his loyal wives were vowing to fight for him. He maintains innocence, insisting carbonation was a legitimate spiritual path, and his prosecution targets Black men teaching spirituality. So to Rolling Stone reporter David Peisner, he says, I'm a controversial figure because what I stand for goes against the power structure. He also told this reporter that even though he lacked the resources to appeal, quote, I know I'm going to be exonerated, but I don't know how. God isn't going to let me sit in here. I'm too valuable to humanity.
No, I disagree.
That's just called narcissism.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
buddy.
Yeah.
Nobody wants you.
I mean, yeah, okay. Ugh. And as we always talk about escaping on this show, this quote from a former follower of Bishop's kind of seemed like a good point to end the episode on. His name was Aaron Dixon, and he admitted, quote, it was very hard for me to accept that carbonation was a joke. I've literally been following behind a clown who has been putting on a show, end quote. So escaping a cult is no joke. It is hard. There is the mental trauma, sometimes physical trauma. They have to rebuild financially. There's that social stigma of people wondering, how could you fall for something like that? Mm-hmm. Others are so far deep that they have to have a leader. So some of the people in this cult have found other cults to fall in line with because their identities have essentially been erased and they're defined by their proximity or relation to these, quote, leaders. And by the way, the same guy, Aaron Dixon, in another interview told of how he found carbonation. He was just about ready to get out of the Army, U.S. Army. He's in South Korea. Because he had a desk job, he was bored and online much of the time. Yeah. And so the YouTube algorithm monster started feeding him these conspiracy videos, and those videos got more intriguing and more extreme. And we talked about this on our algorithm hijack episode. He said brainwashed intrigue. Yeah. He was at a crossroads in life, and it was easy to see how, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do with my future. This sounds really romantic and appealing, and being one with nature and all these things. And so I get it,
Well, I think, I always, tell this to my girls too, but I think it is so important. Here's another PSA. It is so important it's like you are what you eat, okay? But you also are what you ingest in other ways. And so if you are dipping your toe into watching different things, it's like you get deeper and deeper and deeper, and it becomes part of you, and not always in a good way.
But what do you think draws people into these traps? I mean, at what point do you think they're like, I'm all in, I can't see the way out anymore?
I think people are lonely, I think, is a lot of it. I think it comes from, it's that wanting that community, right? It's wanting so badly to belong. And I think everybody has a different story, and everybody has their own hurts and hangups. So it's probably different for everyone, but I don't know.
Are you ready to re-enter the workforce or find a career that actually fits? Or maybe you're an employer tired of noisy platforms that miss the mark? Try Focus, a smarter hiring tool that helps you cut through the noise and focus on what matters. Visit focus.work today. That's FOQUS.WORK.
Well, what are you escaping this week?
Well,
or two? Where are you escaping?
Where am I escaping to?
Yeah.
With all that's been going on,
bottle of wine.
Yeah, a bottle of wine. I honestly, I don't know. On the way here, I thought all I want to do tonight. We've got a volleyball game, but all I want to do tonight, and even this weekend, and I'm going to find time to do it. I just want to sit on my floor in my studio, which is kind of my secondary, my room, and plug in my headphones and just listen to old records and just zone out like I used to when I was a teenager.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds.
You know what I mean? To just forget some things. Just take me
nostalgia.
back
to when times were simpler and people rallied and they could all agree on certain things.
Yeah. And if they didn't, then they didn't.
But they were such a small number in a small voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you escaping to?
What am I escaping to? Well, it is beautiful today. This is my kind of weather. It's 90 degrees today. It makes me so happy. So it is a work meeting after work, but we're going to go sit out on a patio, and we have a new director of development, and she's got a lot of energy and a lot of ideas. And it was kind of cute because she floats this idea to me yesterday, and I think she was kind of thinking I wouldn't dig it. And I'm like, I actually really love this idea. She's like, oh, you do? I'm like, yeah, let's jump on it. So, and it involves a partnering agency. So we're going to get together and hash some things out after work out on a patio, and
that does sound
soak
perfect.
up my photons because I need all of that. But so that's what I'm escaping to.
Well, good.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good escape.
I agree.
Much needed. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Your support means the world to us and the people we serve. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or if they thought carbonation was soda pop related. Share it with them too.
Diet Coke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every download, follow, and subscription helps us fund real life escapes for some of our community's most vulnerable.
So if we were going to create a cult, what would the drink of choice be?
Oh my.
If it was a pop?
I
I don't really drink pop.
I don't either, but when I do, it tends to be
It's gotta
Dr.
be
Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Or if I'm at the movie theater, which is not very often, but if I do get to go to the movies and have popcorn, I want a Coke. Like a good old-fashioned fountain Coke.
The only time I drink Coke, you'll always see one in our staff fridge and one in my home fridge, and it's only if I have a certain type of headache. I don't know what's in that shit, but it's the only thing that'll get rid of a headache.
It's funny that you say that because
I don't drink it otherwise. I love it, but I just don't.
Same.
I choose not to.
my husband, he works for
Yeah.
Pepsi, and so it's like we have access to have plenty of soda. We don't really drink a whole lot of it. It's not good for you. Surprise, surprise. Who knew? But my dad, so this is years ago, I had a horrible headache, and he was like, I think it was going on for like 2 days. I just could not kick it. Ibuprofen wasn't working. I was drinking plenty of water, like this and that and the other thing. He goes, I'll be right over. Incoming dad to save the day. And he hands me a Coke and a chocolate bar. And he's like, eat a little of this chocolate bar and drink some of that Coke.
Yeah.
And your headache's going to go away. I was like, you are full of
Magic.
beans.
Nope.
Oh my gosh. Within minutes,
Yep.
I felt like normal again.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on?
Wait till you really learn what's in that stuff.
But it did the trick. So anyway,
Well, rabbit hole number 749. I don't know. But yes, thank you for tuning in. We really are a podcast for a cause. So I know this was a lot today. It was a lot. It was heavy. It was all over the place. But if you felt entertained or uplifted or anything, please take a minute to drop a 5-star review on your favorite listening platform. Your voice helps us reach more listeners, which means more resources for the 150 people on our campus seeking hope and healing. And if you want to help even more, you can become a patron at escapepod.live. For the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can actually help us liberate people from the crisis of poverty permanently. We have people that were in sex trafficking rings. I don't know if we've ever had a cult member, but you did mention the Ukrainian incident, the lady who died. We did have a refugee family for a couple of years after the war broke out over there. And that was one of the most, all of our stories here are just so beautiful, but that was just really incredible, the work that we do here.
yeah, it is.
So there's just so much to be supportive of and proud of. You can connect us through the website on our socials. I don't even know what socials we have. Do you want to fill them in on what are we on?
Well, on everything,
Instagram?
really. Yeah, we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Shorts.
Okay. See, I didn't even know. That's why I always say socials because,
And that is totally, you'll find us.
okay. You can also send topic ideas to us at Just Because. In fact, I think this carbonation one came through that at escapepod.live, or send in your own story of escape to escapeartist at escapepod.live. And once we collect some that are suitable for the air, we'd like to do a future episode with it.
That'd be awesome. Well, that's a wrap for this episode of the Escape Pod. Remember, trauma may be part of the journey, but you get to choose how to rise above it. Stay courageous and stay connected.
And most importantly, stay resilient and keep laughing.
Bye, everybody.